But he said to them, if they do not listen to Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded if someone rises from the dead. What a story. It's a true story. What a picture of life on the other side of the grave. What I'd like to do now is to give you several descriptions that will help us to uncover what it is like to die without personal faith in Jesus Christ. First of all, number one, notice that this man was fully conscious. Memory, speaking, pain, bliss. Verse 24, send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool off my tongue, for I am in agony in this flame. You realize, of course, that Hades is a place of unmet desires. Here's a man who is in torment. He's thirsty, of course. And what he would like to do is to at least have a drop of water put on his tongue. But no water was given to him. Can you imagine those who are alcoholics with that insatiable desire for alcoholism? And now suddenly they find themselves in a region where they scream for a drop of alcohol and none is given to them because they are in the world to come. They have heightened desires, but those heightened desires must of necessity remain unfilled, just a constant burning without being satisfied. Here's someone who in this life is on heroin. Heroin is his God. He will kill for heroin. He will steal for it. He will do all that he possibly can to get another fix. And suddenly he's in a realm where he has these desires. And the desires are there and they are growing, but there is no heroin in Hades. There is nothing he can do to deaden the pain. Now let's go back to that funeral that I was asked to take here in the city of Chicago. I remember the funeral home. I won't mention it to you, but it's just a couple of miles north of here. I remember going there, and because the man was well known, and apparently he had made millions of dollars in the shipping industry, as I discovered later, he not only was in a very elegant casket, but I had to find a place to park. And so I drove around finding that place to park. What was he doing when I was trying to find a place to park, to find his son and to say some words to his distraught widow? He was in agony in a flame, and he was not satisfied. That's what happened 1 minute after he died. Let's look at a second characteristic. Fully conscious, memory, speaking, pain, bliss, unmet desire, a tortured conscience. Secondly, his eternal destiny was fixed. His eternal destiny was fixed. Verse 26, when he says, Abraham, please send Lazarus to dip my tongue and bring me some water. Abraham said, child, remember that during your life you received good things, and now things are reversed. Verse 26, and beside all this, between us and you, there is a great chasm fixed. And you'll notice we read it a moment ago, and no one can cross from one side or the other. That's it. That's it. And so while this man's friends were able to go to lunch afterwards, obviously I was not invited, but that's what they did. They went for lunch in a restaurant. And while they were able to plan a trip maybe to Europe and to use some of the money that the man left behind, he was in a state, he was in a place of monotony, boredom, and triviality, and there was no way out. The words of Dante, long since forgotten, perhaps came to mind. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. May I emphasize to you that your eternal destiny is fixed in this life, not in the life to come. You cannot reroute your travel plans. You can't arrive and say, well, this is not where I was intending to go, and I do not like what is happening here. Can I at least call an airline and get me a ticket to somewhere else? This is it. Your suitcase is unpacked, and this is, quote, home, such as it is. Well, yes, such as it is, this is home. This is Pastor Lutzer, and I cannot think of any subject that is more sobering. I'm just sitting here today talking to you, but thinking about what I just said over the radio, and you know that what I've said is true because it's based on God's holy word. And I think that if we were to contemplate eternity, we would immediately go out and we'd begin to think and to pray and say, Lord, how can I get the good news of the gospel to more people? First of all, of course, we would make sure that we ourselves have savingly believed in Jesus and that our assurance is not misplaced. But then we'd go out and we'd share the good news of the gospel that Jesus can prepare us for heaven, and those who trust him will be there forever. Well, you stay tuned next time as we continue.
Thank you, Dr. Lutzer. You've heard Dr. Erwin Lutzer with part 2 of The Descent into Gloom, the second message in his series, 1 Minute After You Die. Tomorrow, more insights into Luke chapter 16. Running to Win comes to you from Chicago's Moody Church to help all of us run the race of life to the very end. 1 Minute After You Die answers some of life's biggest questions, and this series can be yours on CD, cassette, or MP3, or in Dr. Lutzer's full-length book. For complete information, call toll-free at 1-800-215-5001. That's 1-800-215-5001. To learn more about Moody Church, visit our website at runningtowin.org. And don't forget, this broadcast is supported by listeners like you. This is Dave McAllister. For more about what happens when you die, don't miss tomorrow's edition of Running to Win.